So once you've written down what it is you potentially want to achieve from working in the world of freelance digital marketing, it's really important that we take that a step further and put some detail into those goals. The reason for this, and as cheesy as it sounds, is that what gets measured gets done. And by attaching some metrics and by attaching some milestones to those metrics, it gives you something very defined to work towards. Now for me, as I mentioned, one of the key goals for why I wanted to go freelance was the potential to earn more money. But just to be able to say, I want to earn more money, you go, well, how much more do you want to earn? Is it the fact that you want to earn an extra 5% on your income? Do you want to double your income? Do you want to times it by 10? Having a number set aside to that is actually really important, because what it means is that if you were to take that example, hypothetically you could get to a stage where you go, I'm never quite sure where it is I want to get to. I just want more. And to be honest, you're never going to be satisfied by just wanting more. So for me, what I did was I sat down, worked out obviously what I was earning previously and kind of what I felt was a comfortable target to potentially aim towards in my first year of business. So if we were talking about a financial goal, historically in my previous job, I was working on a salary of £26,000. From that, I sort of worked out that I felt like it was possible to aim to make sure that within my first year of running the business, assuming everything went well, that I could potentially earn £30,000. So that was my goal. That was the metric that I had attached to that reason of why I wanted to go freelance. With the other things, it was a case of flexibility. Okay, well, how do you measure flexibility? And that was just on a day-to-day basis going, okay, well, am I not working 9 to 5? Am I doing fewer hours? Lastly, for me, opportunities. Again, it's harder to attach a metric to that specifically. But for me, it was and I know that I have been speaking with a new or different client that I never would have had an opportunity to speak or work with potentially before. That is a sign of success. So it is not as easy to measure as something as an income level, but there is still a little almost checkbox that I've created for myself so that when it comes to the fact that that happens, you can go, okay, well, I am actually achieving the thing that I set out to do. It's really important that you have a defined how I am going to measure what it is that I want to set out to do. If, for instance, you want to travel around the world as a result of freelancing, then you go, okay, well, I know that I'm achieving success when I have visited such and such a country. I know that I'm achieving success when I have been able to save up enough to be able to travel in the first place. However you define the reasons you want to go freelance, as I say, is completely different for every person, but it is so important that you attach numbers to these. The other thing to bear in mind with all of this though, is that particularly for some people, those overall objectives as measures of success are going to be huge, and they are going to take a long period of time. So just say, for example, that you went into freelance, you wanted to learn about digital marketing because eventually, in a number of years, you want to set up your own digital agency, you want to have 15 members of staff, and you want to have a turnover of £1 million. That is going to take a long time for anyone to grow, regardless of your skill set or background. With that, if you were sort of say, right, from day one, in 5 years' time, I'm going to potentially achieve that, that is a long time for anyone to wait before you have achieved success. So as well as setting a goal, you need to be setting steps and as milestones as to what success looks like on that road for getting there. First of all, it might be a case of, if this is my start point and this is my end point, what are the points in between that I can use to measure off that I'm working towards achieving that goal? So to use that example, it might be within year one, I want to create a recurring revenue of, say, 10 grand a month. Milestone number 2 might be you hire your first employee. Milestone number 3 might be that you have rented your first office or you have won an award. Essentially, if you know your end destination, you can work backwards to where you are now and essentially kind of fill in the blanks, both from a practical business perspective as to how you actually need to get there and what it is you need to achieve in order to be able to succeed, but it's also picking out those important markers that define success along the way. Otherwise, to be honest, you will get bored, you will get deflated, and you won't essentially achieve it. You need to define those moments, and when they come along, then really celebrate them. So if you've already, from the first lesson, worked out the reasons as to why you want to go freelance, try and attach some numbers to those and think about what success looks like in very granular detail to those things, and work out with each activity at least 3 milestones that you can potentially look at and you go, you know what, I'm achieving that, however that works for you.